time for Palette of the Month Club. If you've been playing along for the whole month of February, we have been focusing on the Kat Von D Monarch palette. At least I have. I don't know if you have, but I'm going to review it today. I'm going to do 4 looks with it that I've been doing over the month, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So what I do every month is I take one palette, I use it throughout the month, not every day, but a good like 8 to 10 times during the month, like twice a week basically, and I just focus on it so that I can give you guys like a really good review. And then at the end of the month I'll come back and do something with it. So it might be like a get ready with me, or it might be a tutorial, or today what I'm doing is 4 looks, 1 palette. Lots of people on YouTube do 4 looks, 1 palette, 3 looks, 1 palette, but I'm going to give all the credit today for this idea to Kristen Game, who I will link her channel below, because I'm kind of doing it in the style that she does it, and I don't want anybody to think I'm ripping her off. It's more of a homage, because I really love her channel. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the 4 looks that I did with this. So for today's look, I have Tiny Death right here as my brow bone highlight. I have Telepathy all over the inside half. I have Shadow Box all over the outside half. And then I've taken a little bit of Vanish, this shade right here, and worked it into the crease just a little bit. I have left the bottom just completely bare. I wanted to go for a really wide-eyed look today, so whenever I want to do that, I pretty much never do anything on the bottom. As my tight line, I have used the Sephora Contour Matte Gel eyeliner, which is pretty much the only eyeliner I ever use for tight lining. And then I've winged it out with the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. On my bottom waterline, I've used this Rimmel Exaggerate eye pencil, and that is in the shade 213 in the nude. So again, just to open everything up. By the way, also with the winged liner, I have not taken it all the way into the inner corner. I always leave just a little bit, just to give you that more, again, wide open look. This palette I don't think really doesn't have a fantastic inner corner highlight. This one is just a little too glittery for me. So whenever that happens, if I don't like a certain inner corner highlight in a palette, or if there isn't one, what I will do is I will just take whatever highlight I've used on my face and put that in the inner corner. So that's what I've done. So I have used the NYX Strobe of Genius palette today for my highlight. And on my cheeks, I mixed together the lavender and this shade here. But then on the inner corner, I just used this lavender. And on my cheeks for blush, I've used this Laura Mercier Daring by Day Eye and Cheek contour palette. And I've just used the blush in there, which is called Lotus Pink. And last but not least, mascara. I'm still testing out the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara, and that's what I have on top. And as always, I have my MAC Extended Play Giga Black on the bottom. So I will zoom you in. And here's the look up close. So on my eyes today, I have used Killing Jar as my transition shade. And then I really wanted to use this orange, which is Deadhead. So I used that in the crease. And then I took this gold and put it all over the lid. This is Disintegration. And then I just took a little bit of this brown Shadow Box, just the tiniest bit, and put it in the outer V. Tiny Death is my brow bone highlight. And then on the bottom, I've just taken a little bit of these two again and mixed them together lightly on the bottom. I wanted to actually swatch the gold for you and just give you a little tip with this one. Definitely do your eyes before your foundation if you're going to use this gold. It's beautiful, but there's a lot of fallout with it, and a lot of glitter in it, and it requires like makeup remover to get it off because of the glitter, but it's a beautiful shade. So also on my eyes today, I have the Sephora Contour Matte Gel Eyeliner as my tight line. I've just taken the tiniest bit of Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil right just into the tiniest little bit there just to connect it to the wing liner. And then I used again the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper to wing out the top. I didn't do an inner corner highlight today. I just liked the way it looked, so I left it alone. I'm wearing Laura Mercier Blush and Spiced Cider on my cheeks. And then again, I'm using the NYX Strobe of Genius palette today. I just stuck to this shade right here, the lightest, most champagne-y highlight on my cheeks. And on my eyes, I decided to wear false lashes, so I'm just wearing a little bit of mascara to blend them in. That was the Too Faced Better Than Sex. The lashes are the Ardell Demi Wispies, and then bottom mascara is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. So I will zoom you in. So here is the look. Okay guys, I think in the last two looks I might have been saying the names wrong. It's just because of the way this is set up. I thought they matched from front to back, but they actually go like left to right is this left to right, so it's kind of complicated. So if I was doing it wrong, I'm sorry, and I will notate them, the actual colors. Really sorry about that. But let's just get into it today. Today I wanted to see how fast and simple I could do a look with this palette. So I just wanted to keep it quick, easy, and see how well this would work. So what I did is I took Tiny Death and I put that all over the brow bone, and then I took the gold, which is Summerfly, and I put that all over the lid, and I just used the orange, which is Wrath, right in the crease, and I took the tiniest bit of Shadow Box here and just put that right in the very corner, just like a little line of it, not even a V, just like a little boop, and then blended it out. And then on the bottom I mixed what is this? See, this is how complicated this is, trying to figure them out. Shadow Box and Wrath I mixed together just under here. So let's zoom you in. So this is the final look. So because I was trying to keep it really simple, I didn't want to do any liner. All I did was tight line with my Sephora, I should know the name of this by now, Contour Matte Gel Eyeliner, and that's just the black one, and just mascara. I was thinking about doing lashes, but you know what, sometimes with the glue and when you're not wearing liner, you never know how that's going to turn out. So I just did plain mascara. I went with Too Faced Better Than Sex on the top and my MAC Extended Play Giga Black on the bottom, as always. I used today Down Boy from the Balm as my blush. And as my highlight, I use the two hard candy highlights I have. Candlelit, which is more of a matte, and I use this pinker side. And then I put on top of it Twinkle Star and the more lighter one, the peachier one on top of that. Okay guys, so for today I used, nope, this one, Entomology on my brow bone. And I took Telepathy all over the lid. And then I took the color Wrath into the crease, and then I built up a lot of darkness in the outer V and kind of into the crease as well. I wanted it to be very dramatic, so first I used Papillio, then I used Shadow Box, and then I used a little bit of Deadhead out in the outer V and kind of just built that color up until it was as dark and intense as I wanted it to be. And then on the bottom I used Delaney on the outer side, and I used Telepathy again on the inner side. This color was actually a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be, which worked out fine. I used the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil and Perversion all over my waterline, and then I set it with this Deadhead just to kind of make it matte and keep it in place. And that's everything I used from this palette today. So then on my eyes, I also used this Physicians Formula Eye Booster, it's like a fine tip eyeliner. And then on my cheeks, I used this Kiko blush. It's the Soft Touch blush. They don't have color names. It's just in the shade 106 on my cheeks. And then I used for my highlight Becca Moonstone, which pretty much everybody knows what this looks like, right? There it is right there. And on my eyelashes, I just used the Better Than Sex mascara on the top, the MAC, you've seen it the entire week. It's the only thing I use on the bottom. And then I decided, because I wanted this to be a very dramatic look for my last look, and so I put on very dramatic eyelashes, and these are the Red Cherry WSP, which I think means wispy, I guess. So I will zoom you in. So here's the look. So now that you've seen all 4 looks, let's talk about this palette a little bit and get into the review of it. On the back, it tells you what all the shade names are, and I just got confused. I thought they matched up like back to front like this, so I was looking at this color and telling you it was this color, but it's actually, it's the same way the palette is, left to right. So sorry about any confusion there. It confused me a little bit. Here's the colors. Now this is a mix of matte and shimmers. There's not really any glitter. The closest you would get to glitter is this color here, this gold. The only matte shades are this color here, which is Vanish, which is a really good transition color. This nice dark chocolate brown, which is Shadow Box. And the brow bone highlight that I've been using pretty much the whole time, which is Entomology. This shade is also really good for blending out. So, you know, maybe you have a line that's a little harsher than you want, take a little bit of that on a blending brush, blend it out. That's how I've been using it too. It works really, really well for that. So the only thing about this palette is it's a very, very neutral palette. You know, you've got a lot of neutral shades, a lot of browns. There's really only 2 like nice colors in here, and that's the orange and the gold. Everything else, if you took out those 2 colors, you could see it would just be like a totally neutral palette. Doesn't mean I don't like them. I do. I really love all the shades here, but it's just that I found by like the end of the month, I didn't really know what new looks to make with it, because there aren't really that many pops of color. This one is mostly neutral with a couple pops of color, but it has a lot of nice shimmery shades. It has a lot of nice metallic shades. And so I'm gonna give you swatches right now. So starting with these here, we've got Entomology, Wrath, Papillio, and Summerfly. So that's Entomology, Wrath, Papillio, and Summerfly. Here we've got Telepathy, Killing Jar, Delaney, and Vanish. And that's Telepathy, Killing Jar, Delaney, and Vanish. This color here, Delaney, and this Telepathy, in the pan, they look very, very similar. But this one leans a little bit more beige, and this one leans a little bit more silver. You can see the difference there. They're both beautiful. And finally, we have Tiny Death, Disintegration, Shadow Box, and Deadhead. That's Tiny Death, Disintegration, Shadow Box, and Deadhead. If there's one shade I don't like in this palette, it's this Tiny Death. I know it's hard to see in a swatch. Swatch actually looks okay, but when it goes on the eye, it's like a beige with glitter in it. And when it goes on the eye, there's so little glitter or shimmer or anything that you can't really use it as an inner corner highlight. And the beiginess of it kind of doesn't show up. So that's the only color that I don't like in the whole palette. So I am a huge fan of Kat Von D eyeshadow palettes in general. I think I own 3 of them. If you have ever swatched or used Kat Von D shadows, you know they can be very, very powdery. They can kick up a lot of powder, especially the matte shades, and that's exactly what you're getting here. You are going to get a lot of pigment on your brush. You are going to have to tap off your brush. You are going to see a lot of powder kick up when you place your brush into it, even if it's just lightly. To me, that doesn't matter, because all I do is I tap off my brush and I move on with my life. But I know a lot of people have a problem with that, so it's definitely worth mentioning for sure. All the shades blend really nicely. Once you get up into these very, very dark shades, they do require a little bit more blending, I'll be honest, but everything else blends really nicely. These 3 metallics, so this one here, and this one here, they are gorgeous. I love using them for all over the lid. They do come up a little bit more chunky, so they're kind of foiled, or like a foiled shadow. I don't know if they are foiled or not, but they kind of perform like a foiled shadow. So when you place your brush in it, it kind of comes up a little bit chunky and you will get fallout, but the color payoff is intense. You get a lot of color all over the lid. It's not going to come up chunky and then just fall all over your face and you end up with no pigment. It's a color that really pays off. So overall, this palette I think is like a solid A to A+. The only thing I wish is that it had a few more pops of color in it, but I think the metallics that you're getting kind of replace those pops of color in a way, so you can get a neutral look, but that's a little bit more intense than just a plain old neutral matte shadow look. So for that, I really like it. It's really a perfect fall palette for sure, but it can still be used all throughout the year. I mean, if you just delete this one shade here, I mean, that can be a neutral palette for throughout the year. I think once you see that orange, you immediately think fall, like I do, but you can bring in other pops of color from single shadows that you own. So I had so much fun playing with this palette this month of February, and we're gonna move on to another palette for the month of March, and it is going to be the Stila Eyes Are the Window to the Spirit palette. First of all, look at this packaging, isn't it to die for? I'll be honest, I've been really bad and used this once and put it away and moved on to other things. I mean, isn't that terrible? So this is the perfect reason to do this kind of a monthly thing where I can focus on things that I have not been using and put them to the test and get some use out of them and find out if I love them or not. And this one, I don't know, you guys, what do you think? I think it's gonna be a good winter to spring transitional palette because you have like a few of your darker shades here, which are good for winter, and then going into spring, you have all these lightness here. So if you own this palette and you wanna play along in March, I definitely invite you to do that. And maybe if you own one of the other Stila palettes like this, there are 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them, I believe. So if you own one of those, maybe play along too. But this is the palette we're gonna be focusing on in March. And for the next palette of the month club, it won't be a 4 looks 1 palette. I like to switch up what I do with it every month, so you'll get something different every month. The other thing, you guys, I want to do something different for April, and I kind of have to start it now because if I don't, I won't know what to do in the next video. So I want to give you guys the choice of what the next palette will be after the March and into April. So I'm going to be doing the Stila palette. I just did the Kat Von D palette. Those are a little bit more high end. I wanted to give you guys a drugstore palette for April, but I thought I would give you guys the choice as to what I should do. So in the comments, let me know which one you would prefer to see, and whichever one gets more votes is what I will do. So I have the e.l.f. Need It Nude palette right here. So that is a neutral palette. It has a mix of matte and shimmers in it. Or this crazy thing here is the BH Party Girl palette, and this has 40 colors in it, and they are all over the map. So this one, I'll be honest, I find a little bit intimidating. I'm not sure if this is still available for sale. I got mine off of Amazon, and that wasn't too long ago, so I'm sure they're all kicking around if BH Cosmetics doesn't have it on their website still. But anyway, let me know which one of those in the comments you would like me to do for April, and then I will definitely do that one for you. So you guys, that's it for the February palette of the month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you played along, and thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.